Hey folks, MasakoX here. If you've been a fan or a guest on the What If Roundtable live streams that we like to do every now and again, you might know that we tend to get a lot of suggestions there, and we do promise to make notes of many of them, and perhaps one day make a video about said ideas. Well, today's topic was a great example of that. And as a side note, if you want to see What If Vegeta was female, a common request, we gotta get to 750,000 subscribers before that happens, so press that button to help us get closer to that. But today, we're more focused on what us three thought was a surprising point of interest. Turles. That one Saiyan that turned up in one movie and yet somehow stayed in the hearts of many, despite being basically an evil Goku. Years before Goku Black did that. Turles the Trendsetter was a major point of curiosity for you all, and despite us dragging our heels over it for so long, we have now settled into a story which isn't an immediate payout. You need to see the proper journey to make this guy turn good. Also, do leave a comment about your thoughts about this story, and I'll be sure to respond to as many of them as possible within the first hour of this video going live, guaranteed. In the last part, the fractious union of minds between Vegeta and Turles, with one common goal in mind, had already started to drastically fray. All from the simple fact that neither one of them wanted to back down to the other in regards to where they kept the wish-granting orbs for safekeeping. In the end, Turles had to capitulate to the stubborn prince in order to get anything done. However, things started to pay off for the lone monkey when Zarbon came a-knockin'. Turns out Turles had kept a few cards close to his chest with the prince around, and when the servant of Frieza rounded on him after pounding Vegeta raw, stop it, Turles began to assert his dominance discreetly. Vegeta was too preoccupied with the ouchies to notice, and despite being very tempted to leave him to his fate, he decided to establish a life debt with him when he got his goons to nurse Vegeta back to health. Turles set about finding the Dragon Balls himself, and hopefully without coming across any of Frieza's goons or other foolish tryhards. That is until Nail showed up! As you might expect, Turles was at least a little bit surprised by this development, seeing a Namekian who not only wasn't scared by his presence, but also exuding some rather potent ki. But despite his rather intrigued nature, Turles decided to play coy with this one. After all, he didn't want to go in all out and blow his cover right at this second. That was what Vegeta liked to do. And he wasn't Vegeta. Oh? What's this then? Is this a Namekian that can actually put up a fight? I'm sorry for the rather glib remarks just now, but the ones that I have seen so far were... However, he didn't manage to finish that sentence because a kick from the big green sent him flying. In a matter of milliseconds, Turles realized that this battle wasn't going to be as easy as with Zarbon. The enemy was right on top of him, and with an overhead strike with two joined hands, he smashed the pirate into the ground. That hurt. A lot. What was going on? The other Namekian fighters had power levels of 10,000 at most. This one, he had to be well over 35,000 based on prior guesstimations and Zarbon's total power. And the Earthling seemed pretty confused about this too, the Namekian being here. He could see the bald one, Kakarot's brat, but where was another strike came his way in the form of a kick that made him roll around and realized that he was in the middle of a rather dangerous game, and that he should probably be paying more attention to this guy. He realized also that he was bleeding from his forehead. Things were starting to get a little woozy for him. And another thing to consider right now, which he really didn't want to admit to, was that he had hardly any answer for that green man. That power right there was too great to counter right now without the proper means or even understanding who this person is. If the whole race had any strength left, it was all in this guy. He was their last resort. And their resort packed a punch and a half. Alright, fine. Truce. We started off on the wrong foot here, huh? Turles was doing his best to backpedal his earlier bravado, but the Earthlings were not having any of his charisma get in the way. In that instant, Krillin warned Nail of the truth behind this Saiyan. He's not to be trusted, Nail! He invaded our planet! He wanted to plant a giant tree! Nail looked puzzled rather than assured or energized to act. In fact, he was taking this revelation with quite a bit of derision. A tree? You people were scared of a tree? Are you serious? Krillin couldn't sense his rather offhanded response, so chose to elaborate. It was really big, and it sucked the life energy out of our world. Nail listened and shrugged. As far as he was concerned, they were all on his turf, and he would rather shut them all up, and this Turles person seemed like the best first port of call. Oh, well, guess I'll end this one first then. Krillin was confused by the remark. Were they friends by now? But Turles had to quickly fight for his life, with words, after not wanting to experience yet more decking of the schnoz. Wait! Before you go ahead and kill me, let's not be hasty, Namekian. We don't have to end things like this. I recognize your strength. Obviously, your strength is legendary, as are the tales of the Namekians of old. Yet, it still might not be enough to defeat Frieza. Nail scoffed at Turles. Give me a break. Aren't you one of his men? If you're trying to squirm your way out of me killing you, then you're a sorry excuse of a Saiyan. Turles sensed an opportunity and relaxed his shoulders a little, knowing he was in the right here. No, quite the contrary. You see, I might have had a troubled past with these Earthlings, I admit, but I am willing to honor your strength, respect your power, and reasoning to want to protect your world, as well as realize that I alone cannot stop Frieza from getting the Dragon Balls. And I get the feeling that you share my thoughts on this matter. Luckily for you, I have a whole crew that might be of assistance, and I wouldn't be wrong by assuming that no one here wants Frieza to get his wish, right? Krillin, Gohan, and Nail looked at each other. Turles had a point here. Despite their differences from not that long ago, right now, here on Namek, they were after the same thing, and that was to stop Frieza getting his way and ultimately dooming this planet to destruction, subjugation, or both. In the end, Krillin spoke for the Earthlings and gave Turles a rather cold but knowing look. Fine, but a truce doesn't mean that we trust you, you know. Turles nodded. He didn't care about the details or trust or making friends. Only the fact he would get to live a little while longer. And that means that you are smart for being so careful. But for now, we have far bigger fish to fry. And for your information, I have another common friend on the ship. Vegeta. Krillin shuddered at the sole sound of his name. Let me guess! He's just there to save your butt if things go south! Turles chuckled. Not at all. He's in no condition to save any butts right now. I had to save it from being slammed into oblivion. Stop it! Krillin hesitated at that. Do you have him under control? Turles, for effect, put his hand to his chin and mulled over that question a little bit. Well, how should I put this? What I can tell you for certainty is that he knows that I'm stronger than him, despite his desire that that was not so. Or at least, that was the case before Zarbon came a-knockin'. Krillin blinked with nervousness. Oh. Turles helped himself up and started bandaging his forehead when he understood that none of these guys were in the mood to fight for the moment. Once he had applied the bandages, he began to wax lyrical some more. As a gesture of my goodwill, I can tell you that Vegeta has hidden one of the Dragon Balls that you seek.
At the bottom of the lake, yes. I already got that one.
Turles tried to look surprised, but then laughed with satisfaction. I told him that that wasn't the smartest move. Gohan was not following the in-joke at play here, but Turles wasn't mad at this. Tell me, boy, how did you manage to find it? Gohan tried to look tough, choosing not to play his cards right now about the Dragon Radar.
We have our ways. That's all you need to know.
Turles gave him a slight smile, shrugged, and thought to himself. Just you wait, you little brat. I'll figure out how you people find those things so easily and quickly. And then, when everyone will be busy with Frieza, I'm just gonna grab them right from under your noses and get what I want most. But for now, Turles reckoned it was best to work with these people and just allow Gohan to feel smug for the time being. Very well. Let me contact my ship. Amond, we are calling a truce with the Earthlings and the Namekians for now. Amond responded with a sound of surprise at the laying down of arms.
Mighty Turles! Are you sure?
Yes, I am quite sure. How is Vegeta doing? Is he coming to his senses? Amon grunted with belligerent acknowledgement, as if he would rather have it so Vegeta would have never woken up ever again.
Yeah, as you predicted, he is trying to boss us around. despite realizing that he is in very dire need of further medical attention before he can get back in the ring, as it were.
Okay, give him these coordinates and tell him to meet us there. Once he is ready, we can put him to work. Turles pocketed his communicator and turned back to his new partners in space crime. Meanwhile, we can scout for the other Dragon Balls whilst Vegeta is getting his bearings once more. Turles looked at Krillin and Gohan. It would be smart for the Namekian here to guard the ones we already have, in case Frieza's goons show up. Krillin, though, was not really liking the idea of being told what to do with such coldness. Yeah, you want to lure us out into the open and then call Vegeta in as reinforcements before killing us all! Turles sighed with a rather exasperated tone, as if he knew it was coming, but would still rather not have heard it. He turned to Krillin and patronized him. Relax, Baldy. If I wanted revenge for my hand, I would not need Vegeta's assistance. Trust me. Besides, I don't want to anger your green buddy over there anymore. After what he showed me just now, he's got this point across loud and clear. Nail grunted. He was just glad that Turles understood his power, but he would rather not be considered anybody's friend at this time. And so they go. Not sure whether they should really trust Turles, only to meet up with a considerably patched up Vegeta. Despite having had his life effectively saved by Turles, Vegeta was not going to be playing the simpering assistant to this low-class Saiyan still. He was going to go down fighting in that regard.
Turles, don't tell me that you're actually lowering yourself even further in allying yourself with Earthlings. Even low-class warriors had some standards.
Krillin looked angry and was ready to run in case this was the start of an ambush. But instead, Turles chose to fight back with retorts. Oh, hello Vegeta. How's that gaping chest wound after your little fight with Zarbon? I hope my men kissed your boo-boos better enough for you.
Shut up! You may keep evading the topic, but you do know that we actually have to fight over those orbs when all of this is done, right? Only one of us gets to have the wish if we—
Krillin decided to defuse the situation, realizing that it might be best to be on Turles' side right now. Actually, the Namekian Dragon Ball can grant 3 wishes! What? Gohan, Vegeta and Turles turned their head toward the bald guy. Now this was rather interesting news. Not even Turles was expecting this, and he was usually on the ball or composed with such matters. Krillin, though, felt that this was the thing that was needed for everybody to play nice. So, if we work together, we can maybe share the wishes? Everybody wins, except Frieza, right? Vegeta pondered for a while.
They are allied with a Namekian who is even more powerful than you and me. Smart move. Their ultimate insurance policy, I see.
Gohan broke his silence and added,
And my dad is coming to this planet too. He'll make sure you keep your promise. He'll be even stronger than before.
Turles looked sour at this news. That disgrace was going to be spoiling his afternoon all over again. You know what? Fine. We all want Frieza dead. I can have my own wish anyway. Not that your pathetic wishes will matter when I get it. Fine. A truce. Suddenly, right after they had all genuinely settled things between one another, Turles got a pretty urgent distress call from his ship. Judging from the way that Turles was carrying himself after hearing it, this looked like something serious, and not as a means to try and hoodwink any of them. Even Vegeta was paying close attention to Turles' body language. I see. I understand. Do not engage. I repeat, lay low. We cannot reason with those brutes.
What? Are your Boy Scouts scared, Turles, about Frieza?
Vegeta tried to act all brash about it.
Drop the bravado, Prince. You know damn well who I'm referring to. The Ginyus are here.
Vegeta's act suddenly vanished, and in its place, a look of stunned, silent fear overrode his visage. But the rest of the group didn't follow or understand the significance of this development. Ginyus? Who are Ginyus? Krillin looked surprised, but seeing how Vegeta's expression turned to fear just now, he realized that something was wrong, and that they should also be wary of this news. And wouldn't you know it, not long after that, 5 figures appeared very close to them. They didn't even have enough time to respond before the quintet loomed over them. Well, so it is true. You really did go rogue and joined a pirate crew, Vegeta. What kind of low point is this? Prince of some thieves and scoundrels now? Jace decided to mock the prince. Vegeta was angry, but decided not to intervene, as Raccoon had decided to step in as well, along with Goldo. Krillin and Gohan had no other options but to fight that one, whilst Raccoon became the opponent of Turles and Vegeta, whom had to work together to stop this rather relentless beast of a fighter, who seemed to be getting stronger as the battle wore on, as if the task was something it relished. While the smaller warriors had their success against Goldo, Raccoon wrecked Vegeta and Turles, even though it initially looked like a pretty even matchup. Next, he turned his gaze to the other two, and after that, Raccoon rounded on Krillin with an extremely menacing grin which scared Krillin into submission before so much as a punch had been thrown his way, which when it did, yielded some really heavy damage. Gohan here gets really angry at this, and much to the surprise of Turles and Vegeta, gives the Giants some more fight than any of them could have ever expected. But this is still not enough, and just as the biggest member of the Ginyu Force is about to crush him, someone stops him. It's none other than Goku. He defeats Raccoon with a single blow, and tosses some sensu beans to Krillin, Gohan, Vegeta, and even Turles. Having realized that Turles wasn't fighting his friends at this time, Goku just thought that, hey, maybe have some extra pair of hands against these guys. They were the real bigger problem. Jace and Berta do their best to try and ambush him, but Goku is unaffected, which makes the entire force feel very uneasy. Turles, though, is speechless. Goku's power level, it only reads 5,000. That doesn't make any sense given the reactions that the Ginyus were doing right now. They were scared, but that's what the Scouter says, 5,000. How is this soft simpleton acting so calmly and confidently when compared to the results of the Ginyu Force? Is it possible that he knows some secret that no other Saiyan does? But that's impossible. As everyone is stunned, Goku stands battle ready to finish his encounter with Captain Ginyu. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what do you folks think? Could this be the moment where Turles joins the good team? Or at least put his resentment toward Goku away for the moment? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I will see you in the next video. Catch you later!